Hi, welcome to Mrs. Park's Algebra 1 class. This is 6-2, Substitution. So in our previous section, we solved by graphing, but this time in section 2, we're going to actually solve for systems by using substitution. Alright, so why are we doing this? Two movies are released at the same time. Movie A earned $31 million in its opening week, but fell to $15 million the following week. Movie B earned $21 million the opening and fell to $11 million the following week. If the earnings for each movie continue to decrease at the same rate, when will they earn the same amount? So we're going to solve this by using substitution. We can also do it by graphing if you choose to do so. There's many ways to solve for systems of equations. So if we use the method of to find an exact solution of a system, it's called substitution. Alright, so solving by substitution. There's also 3 steps in this section. When necessary, solve at least one equation for one variable. Substitute the resulting expression from step 1 onto the other equation to replace the variable. Then solve the equation. Step 3, substitute the value from step 2 into either equation and solve for the other variable. Write the solution as an ordered pair. This is going to make a lot more sense once you see it. Alright, so here, solve a system by substitution. Okay, so here, let me get my Mimeo up here again. Okay, there we go. Alright, so when we're solving by using substitution. Substitution is exactly what it means. You're substituting one for another. So when I say Mrs. Park is calling in sick and she needs a substitute teacher, you need another teacher to stand in for me. So that's what we're doing when you're doing substitution. You're standing one thing for another. So here, use substitution to solve the system of equations. Step 1. One equation already solved for y equals. So this was actually easier one because it already has y equals in it for us. So instead of this y here, we're going to substitute this whole thing into y. So now you have 3x. Instead of this y, you have 2x plus 1 equals negative 9. The reason why we are doing this, then we have 2 x's instead of 2 different variables. Now we can solve for x by combining the like terms. You have 3x plus 2x equals 5x. Plus 1 equals negative 9. Take away 1 on each side. Now you have 5x equals negative 10 divided by 5 on each side, and you have x equals negative 2. So here's your x solution. So remember, it says put it in order pair. So your solution for x is negative 2 right here. Now we're going to go on to solving for y. You can't stop right there. So once you have y, you're going to put this answer back to here where you have y equals 2x plus 1. So instead of x, we know x is negative 2. So we're going to put y equals 2 times, x is now negative 2, plus 1. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4, plus the 1 is negative 3. And that's what you put in for your y. Remember, your order pairs are always in x, y. It's in alphabetical order, x, y, and z. Okay, so x is here, y goes there. And that means that negative 2, negative 3, when you graph it, like we did in the previous section, they're going to meet at this one point, negative 2 and negative 3. That's what we're looking for. So it's really, if you're given a problem and they're asking you to provide a solution, you can either do it by graphing like this, or you can use substitution. And we'll learn a few more methods later on in this chapter. Okay, so here's your turn, numbers 1 and 2. So you don't need any graphing paper for these assignments. You're just going to substitute. So instead of y here, you'll put the y, this y, 4x minus 6 in here. Remember, that's 3 times everything. That means to use the distributive property. Once you find your x, put it in here to find your y. And in this case, you have y equals here. You're going to put 3x plus 10 instead of y. And make sure you use distributive property. So this one, because we didn't do the distributive property, I'm going to just show you a little on how to start. So you have 5x plus 3 times y. Instead of y, we're going to put all of this in. 4x minus 6 equals negative 1. Okay, so when you're solving for x, remember you do have to do the distributive property here. Once you find your x equals a number, you're going to put that back in here and do y equals 4 times your number minus 6. Make sure you give your answer in order pair x and y for each one. Okay, and come back when you're done with numbers 1 and 2. Alright, welcome back. Here is example 2. Solve then and then substitute. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, in the previous examples, it was convenient because we had one of them as y equals. This time it's not so convenient. So, but we can change things around. Remember in our chapter 4, we had worked on how to move things around? Alright, so here you have x plus 2y equals 6. If I had this as x equals, that would be convenient. So instead of y equals, I'm going to use that as x equals. Take away 2y on each side, and now you have x equals 6 minus 2y. I'm going to substitute this x here with everything that's there. Okay, so 3 times, instead of x, I'm going to put 3 times 6 minus 2y, and then I'm going to write out the rest. Use the distributive property here. Okay, and then combine terms, negative 6y minus 4y, negative 10y, and then take away 18 on each side. You're remaining with negative 10y, and then solve for y. Alright, once you have your y, you put it in either one of these. It really doesn't matter. I would rather put it in this one so I don't have to mess with the negative number. So here's your, instead of y, put negative 1, and then you got your x. So x comes first and y is negative 1. Okay, so this is your turn, number 3 and 4. Exactly how we did with the example. Come back when you're done. Okay, example 3. There's going to be some cases when you have no solution or infinitely many solutions. So use substitution to solve the system equation. Same thing we're doing here. So instead of y here, you're going to put 2x minus 4. And that's what they did here. You solved it, but wait a minute. Negative 12 equals negative 12. You don't have a variable, but this is true. So negative 12 does equal negative 12. If it's true, there are infinite number of solutions. Okay, so here's your turn. Remember, if it's true, it has infinite number of solutions. If it's not true, there are no solutions. So go ahead and do numbers 5 and 6, and that will be the end of your homework. Make sure you hand in your homework tomorrow, and thanks for watching.